Alright, so we're going to look at graphing hyperbolas. I'll have several examples. I'll try to hit all the different scenarios you'll come across, but each example will have its own video, so check them out. Alright, so let's get started. It says the standard form for the equation of a hyperbola with center at the origin is x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1, or y squared over a squared minus x squared over b squared equals 1. The vertices are a units from the center, and the foci are c units from the center. Okay. Alright, so let's talk about this a little bit more. Alright, so what they mean, whatever a is, whether the a is under the x term or a is under the y term, that's how many units the vertices are from the center. Okay, and same thing here. Notice here the a is under the y, so a is how far we go up and down from the center. When it's under the x, it's how far we go left and right. Alright, so if we got x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared, notice the x term is before the y term, then that hyperbola is going to open left and right. And if the y term is first and then you've got the x term, that hyperbola is going to open up and down. It's kind of easy to remember. Just think, if x is first, it's going along the x-axis. If the y term is first, it's going along the y-axis. The foci, that's these points here, and I know I don't have it written down, but the foci is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Okay, and the transverse axis, that's the line that goes through both foci points. Okay, and the foci is c units from the center of the hyperbola. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started on an example graphing it. Alright, so example 2 here, we've got y squared over 25 equals x squared over 16 equals 1. Alright, so first thing we need to do is identify what a is and identify what b is. Alright, so we know this is, well, let's do it like this. This is a squared and this is b squared. Okay, so that tells us that a, if this is a squared, a is the square root of 25, which equals 5, and b is the square root of 16, which equals 4. Alright, now in this one, the y term's first, so the parabola is going to open up and down. Okay, so in this problem, the a, that tells us how many units to move up and down because it's under the y, and the b tells us how many units to move left and right. It's under the x. Alright, so let's mark off these points. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to move this down some. To give us a little more room, because it's opening up and down. Let's try that. Alright, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the b, which is under the x, that tells us we move 4 units left and right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Alright, so what this does is this helps us get our box. Okay, it's going to be like a guide to sketch our hyperbola in. So the box we're going to draw in with a dashed line, and what that means is when you draw it in with a dashed line, that means this is not part of the graph. Okay, it's hidden. All right. So there's our box, and then we use the box, the diagonals of the box. That's how we draw in the asymptotes for the hyperbola. So I'll connect the diagonals. Okay, and notice we're using a dashed line because it's not part of the graph. And then we got a dashed line here and a dashed line here. Okay. All right. So now that we have our asymptotes, now we just draw in our hyperbola. And since the y term's first, that's going to be going up and down. So we just draw it in. It's going to look something like this. Okay. And we can come in here and we can label these points. That's what 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be the point 4, 0. This would be the point negative 4, 0. This would be the point 0, negative 5. And this would be the point 0, 5. And then we can plot in our foci. Okay, so if you remember that formula, that's what c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So c squared is, well, a squared, that's 5 squared. Well, we know we got a squared and b squared right here. So a squared is just 25, b squared is 16, and so we get c squared is 25 plus 16, which is 41. So c is equal to the square root of 41, and that's not a perfect square. So let's see, the square root of 41, well, let's see, square root 41 is 6.4 and a bunch of other decimals. So we're just going to say 6.4. And the reason I'm doing that is to let me know about where to plot it. So we've got a foci. We go up 6.4, so there's 5, 6, and then we go up just a little bit more. Go up a little bit more, and then we come down 6 and a little bit more. So these would be the foci points, and this would be the point, what, 0 square root of 41 and 0 negative square root of 41 would be our foci, the coordinates. Alright, so I hope that video helped. Give me a like, share, and subscribe. Check out my other videos, and thanks for watching.